is there anything kind of that surprised you in kind of retrospectively looking back over the past 20 years and what you've learned? Was there anything that kind of stood out?
That's a hard question to give you a specific answer to now. I guess at one level, no, because I was expecting this. Okay. I was expecting that the patient voice, as it's called, would be A, deeply informative, and B, give a very different story to what we had assumed as clinicians. And I guess I kind of learnt that from the people who I was working with and were teaching me in my earlier years. Sure. In terms of this measurement stuff, which is why it became so important that you can't assume that you know what the impact is on somebody without bringing them into the space. So I guess that's why I hesitated with my specific result, because at one level, none of it comes as such a great surprise.
So knowing all of this, what are the next steps?
Well, the next steps are a new generation of more specific instruments. So the instruments that we developed were very broad, and they therefore give broader information rather than more specific information. So what we have done subsequently is to be involved in the methods and the processes required to develop much more specific indicators. So, for example, you ask about quality of life, and we see that there are lots and lots of quality of life measures, but quality of life is not well defined, and essentially can actually mean almost anything that isn't quantity. So we talk about quantity of life and everything else is quality of life. So without that specificity, then it becomes very difficult to know how to measure it, and so the measures are broad and clunky. If you want to measure something specific, then you have to be very specific about what that might be. So we break down this broad concept of quality of life into very specific aspects of. So the piece that this afternoon is about a new walking measure that has a very strong conceptual base, so it's much clearer about what's being measured, and that is much better articulated through all the questions, which means that when you analyse the data, you have the bedrock to have a stronger understanding of the way we quantify walking, and therefore that, when used in studies, I think will be much more valuable than the instrument that we've created previously.
So I've just finished speaking with Jeremy Hobart about quality of life measures that have been used over the past 20 years. The element of that conversation that I found most interesting was the fact that the medical community are very aware of the fact that quality of life is different for every individual, and so it's a very difficult thing to measure, and the measures that they have need to first of all be used in the right context, but also they need to devise some new measures that better capture that kind of information. So don't forget to keep watching our videos and to like and subscribe, and if you have any thoughts or questions, pop them in the comments below.